by political analyst Prince MASHELE. Prince, thank you very much for joining us. So the ANC really doesn't seem to be speaking with one voice. We've got support for Zuma from Ace MAGASHULE, the military vets, of course. That's not really surprising, though, is it?
Good evening, Sally, and to viewers at home. You are correct. It's not surprising. What we are seeing is the widening of cracks within the ANC. Some of us have said it when the new leadership of the ANC was elected in Nasrec, that what you have essentially are two organizations under one roof. You have the faction of Ace MAGASHULE, which continues to be linked to the faction of Jacob Zuma. And you also have the faction of Cyril Ramaphosa, which has been preaching a message of unity. So the ANC has come to some kind of a crossroads where it must decide which ANC must die and which ANC must live. It would appear to me that Ace MAGASHULE is actually daring the other ANC to say, let's see what you can do. So the problem is this, is that this affects our country. If you have the ruling party essentially undermining our constitution, it means that you, as a country, you are in a serious national crisis.
You know, the ANC has always said we're a broad church of people and we have different views. So, you know, I think what Ace MAGASHULE was saying is his statement alone, he's entitled to say what he wants to say. The Eastern Cape coming out saying, well, Jacob Zuma needs to be suspended. The ANC official position, of course, is we're not going to comment on state capture issues until it's all done. To what extent is this part of the normal course of what happens within the ANC? Because we've been told that there are showdowns coming between these two factions for months now, and I'm not sure if it's dissipating or building at this point.
The real question is, which ANC must, as the public, listen to? We have the ANC in the Eastern Cape telling us one thing. We have the Secretary General of the party, who is officially the most authoritative spokesperson of the party, telling us another thing. We have another alleged ANC saying it won't comment. So the public does not know which ANC to listen to. But the tragedy is that the ANC is the party that is in government. So when such a party has many mouths and cannot speak with one voice, it means that we as South Africans, we actually don't know who is leading us, because this is a governing party in South Africa. So it is a big crisis. So the ANC must sort it out. But unfortunately, these factions cannot agree because there is a lot at stake. People like Ace MAGASHULE, for example, we know that he's facing a serious case of corruption. So he is expected to side with Jacob Zuma, who's also in trouble with the law. But then the question is, the other ANCs, do they have the courage to stand up to the criminal element in their own party? My sense is that they actually don't have the courage and the backbone.
I mean, that was going to be, you know, you said that's the question to ask. You're right. So which ANC, in your view, should the public pay more attention to? Are the supporters for Jacob Zuma the disaffected minority within the party, and the views that this is not an okay thing for a former president to say, to defy our constitutional court? Is that the majority view within the party? You tell us.
Well, my sense is this, is that the ANC is dominated by criminals. If you were to do a head count on the NEC of the ANC and say who is innocent, in other words, who has not stolen money somehow from the state, it would be very difficult for you to find saints. So when time comes for a decision to be taken as to which ANC must prevail, the criminals will side with other criminals. So Ace MAGASHULE, in my view, is actually the chief spokesperson of criminals, of the criminal element in the ANC. So to answer your question more precisely, the ANC we must listen to is that of criminals because the criminal element dominates in the ANC.
Of course, Ace MAGASHULE has yet to be found guilty. He's due to stand trial later this month. Some observers believe that as these criminal charges come up, those voices within the party are going to become less and less powerful. Do you not think that's going to happen with Ace MAGASHULE as he stands trial?
No, because other people in the ANC like him are going to support and stand with him, given the fact that they too know that if they allow Ace MAGASHULE and Jacob Zuma to go down unsupported, then they will be next to be targeted or to be dealt with by law enforcement agencies. So it is in their interest to plant chaos in the ANC. And when they do that, the other ones, the less criminal element, don't want to push hard because they imagine that if they push hard, the ANC will break up. And they don't want to go down in history as people who have presided over the funeral of the ANC, which is why they step back from the brink. So I expect that the criminal element in the ANC shall prevail.
Where does this leave President Cyril Ramaphosa? I mean, he is heading up our nation's fight against a pandemic. He's also dealing with shocking reports of corruption, and not corruption from years ago. We're talking corruption allegations from just a few months ago. How secure is the president?
He is not secure. He is very shaky. Cyril Ramaphosa, by the way, is the weakest president of the ANC since 1994. Why? If you look at the margin, a very slim margin that got him into office, it is the smallest since 1994. So the balance of forces within the ANC are actually stacked against him, which is why he doesn't have backbone to push things in the ANC. Each time we expect him to act, he comes out singing a chorus of unity. Why? Because he knows he's very weak, he cannot push the other faction. So we must expect him to be silent as all of these battles unfold. Unfortunately, his weakness shows themselves in the state. So we won't see an emboldened state going for the criminal element in the party because he himself is weak and is afraid.
Let's see what happens in the courts. I suppose that is one place where justice may be done. Thank you very much, political analyst Prince MASHELE.